So some of you may want to, instead of doing just four-sided cubes, you may want to do more challenging shapes. So if you wanted to do, let's say, something like a U. So again, and I keep working on these edges here. If you wanted to make a shape that was, let's say, like a letter H, and you want this H to be on the edge of a side like that, I'm going to work on it over here. So it's the same kind of thing as I mentioned about doing the door, is that you would have these vertical lines and then the horizontal lines of the H. So again, I'm gonna go with two lines like this, and then there's two lines like this to make your H. You would draw those two lines there, and then the line in between would go towards the vanishing point like that. So now if I erase it, that's that. And I'm going to erase here. Okay. So you can see that by altering this side, there's some parts of this shape that need to be added or modified. I'm just going over this. So up here it's going to change. There's going to be a line here. So I'm going to just lightly erase this because I'm not going to be using this whole thing. Okay. So what needs to be added are some lines because I've added some corners. And again, these corners, you're going to look at the corners on this side and any of these corners on this side here that you can draw in the negative space, they're going to go towards that vanishing point. So let's go. We're not going to use this one. We're not going to use that one. We're not going to use that one, but we will use this one. And once you hit something solid, you stop. So this should kind of look like the door a little bit. So now we're going to keep going. Not this one, not this one. There's one. Here's one. Not this one. There's one here. Okay, so this is going to change. To finish the back, it's not just going to be a straight line anymore because this is no longer a straight line.
Vlad, could you please come to the main office?
So you have a vertical, or you have a line that goes to the vanishing point here. Back here, just that shape, that space is going to be a vertical. I mean a line that goes to the vanishing point. And then it goes horizontal, vertical. So this line is going to be vertical. And then the line goes to the vanishing point. So from this corner, it's going to be a line that goes towards the vanishing point. Okay? So that is that. You might run into some challenges as you start making your shapes, but you do not have to make them overly complicated, but you might run into some trouble, and in which case you can always touch base with me, but the same rules apply. You take the corners, and you always go to the opposite vanishing point. Now, if you wanted to make a shape just on its own, like in other words, I took the original shape and I modified it, but if you wanted to make the shape, let's say just generally speaking from scratch, if you would, start off with a vertical. Okay. Now this time, I'm going to keep this one pretty normal. Okay, this side. But now this side, I'm going to add some lines. Vanishing point, vertical, vanishing point, vertical, vanishing point, vertical, and then you have to get back to here somehow. So let's see. Yeah, there we go. All right. So I have a multitude of different angles here. So to finish this off, here is my side that faces me, that's closest to me. Any corners here, go to that vanishing point. Any corners here, go to that vanishing point. I'm not going to go all the way. That's the only one on that side. But on this side, there's a couple, right? You got one here. That's where it's going to end. Not going to use that one. There's one here. We'll talk about how far out that goes. There's not one there, not one there. There you go. One over here. So once you hit something, you stop. So the only part that's of like kind of weird is this right here. Okay. So I'm just going to draw this. I'm going to draw this very lightly. Just kind of illustrate something. So it goes up and then vertical. So this goes up towards that vanishing point. Then it goes vertical. This is behind the scenes. You don't see this. Okay. Then it goes towards the vanishing point, vertical towards the vanishing point. Back here, it does the same thing. Towards the vanishing point, vertical. You don't see this, but then it goes to the vanishing point. So you're not going to finish off this side up here because it's not in line with this. You're going to bring it down a bit. Like that. Now, I took away the guesswork, but if I didn't draw that inside line, I would just know that this line, this drops down a little bit more than this line, so I would know that this little line would have to drop down a little bit from that line. So that's more complicated. All right, but there you go, moving along.